you turned it on?
I have turned it and us on with the single press of a button. So
it's exciting. I'm excited.
You know what? This is the inaugural episode because of the last mistake we made with the data. I made the mistake with the dataslate episode. This is the inaugural episode.
There was
technically
so many mistakes with the dataslate.
Mistakes were made with the dataslate.
Yeah, we found out I can't read.
I don't think we found that out. I think we just confirmed it. I think it was a confirmation. I suspected, and then I said, "Let's read this out." And I was like, "Why is Mark reading this out?" But this is Grimdark Dumb Kill Team.
Yes,
the podcast. It's coming out in podcast form now because some people like to consume it as a podcast. So I thought, why not limit? Why are we limiting our wonderful voices? Mark, that's what I thought. More people need to hear you.
Oh, thank you.
As our resident Grimdark. Yeah, no one wants to be the dumb.
Thanks.
As a resident.
I think we're all.
I think we did decide.
We all like Grimdark.
Yeah, I think we decided that the topic we talk about is Grimdark and we are dumb. Oh, look at this. We're so dumb, I've left my messages on.
I have also.
Yeah.
Let's just
so
be
I'm just going to do not disturb us so that we can slip into this warm bath that is the new Typhon Kill Team dossier.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, it's the first time I've said dossier in a long time.
You don't use dossier?
I don't use it as a free. I don't use it my normal day. Do you?
No.
Well, you said it. You said it like you don't use dossier. Like you were just casually going around saying dossier.
How would you use dossier in just a general conversation?
Here's a dossier I prepared earlier.
Oh.
That's what you
about what though?
Well, generally in my experience, it would be like a private eye saying, "Here's lots of pictures in a dossier of your wife having sex with another man," and you're like, "Oh my god, she's having."
Who?
Tom.
Oh my god.
That rat bastard. No
rat.
So we're here talking.
Hang on, which Tom?
Phelps.
Oh, Tom Phelps.
Yeah.
Right.
Friend of the swimmer. Although they share the same name, they're not related. It's crazy. Yeah. What's his name? Tony Phelps?
Mike Phelps.
Michael Phelps. No?
Yeah.
I mean, the swimmer, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think he's got something. He doesn't get lactose. Not lactose.
Lactic.
He doesn't get lactic. He doesn't get lactose intolerant.
He doesn't get
all the pizza.
Probably doesn't.
He's fine.
He eats a block of cheese before every tournament.
Apparently, he doesn't get lactic acid, which is the reason why he's so good at swimming. So he's essentially, a mutant.
He's and
in 40k world, he would be, killed.
Yeah, almost immediately.
Yep.
He'd finish his first lap, and a space marine would walk in and gun him down.
So, Michael, if you're listening, I'm sorry, dude.
It's not going to happen for you, buddy.
Yeah, 40k is not for you.
I hate to say it, but you would be dead in the 41st millennium. I mean, he probably won't live that long anyway, so he's probably banking on being dead. He is a mutant. Maybe he will live forever.
Does he age?
Does he? Maybe instead of the Raveners, today we should talk about
Michael Phelps
and whether or not he does age.
Do you know, I was listening to your other podcast with the casual team.
Yeah.
And it was just very much about hair.
Yeah, there was a lot of hair. Was I on it?
Well, you commented.
Ben was talking about his hair.
Ben's hair is very impressive.
His lovely hair.
Yeah. And I did very well because I was going to comment.
What were you going to comment?
Well, about the time when we was playing, and I said to you, Russ, as a bald man, when you're washing your face, do you stop at the eyebrows?
How far do you go?
Do you just keep on going until you get all the way around the back?
Until I reach the hair at the back.
And I remember you just kind of looked at me like I was an idiot, and then you took your turn and just carried on killing me. It's just like, all right.
I think that was the correct response.
So the question still stands. Where do you stop?
And today we're looking at the Raveners Kill Team. So we're gonna, you know what we did last time, which I quite liked. There is a quote, so I'm gonna do the quote. I'm gonna do the quote. I'm not gonna look at you because that's gonna put me off every time. But I'm gonna do this quote. This is a quote from Interrogator Vidria Thaski during the consummation of Santar 3.
I had agents at every ritual apex, ready to sweep on the cult. Nothing should have gone wrong. Something happened to the Vox, some shadow that stopped me from transmitting. But I heard the crack of armor glass and the squeal of hinges. I heard my agents scream, one by one.
And that is Interrogator Vidria Thaski during the consummation of Santar 3. And I'm going to suggest, nay, insist, that they were referring to a Ravener's kill team attack. Otherwise, why would you put it in?
Well,
why would you?
Why would you?
Why would you? You wouldn't. So the Ravener's kill team. It's the smallest kill team I've ever seen. I'm sure this hasn't escaped your notice. There's been pictures coming out, but I can confirm, or we can confirm, it's a 5 operative team. So it's,
how many were in the Custodies?
Well, yeah, but that was the previous edition.
Okay.
They don't have them in this edition.
Another compendium, aren't they?
Yeah, compendium. So yeah, this is a 1 prime, 4 Ravener operatives. There are choices. So you do actually get 4 specialists, and the 5th is your warrior. And if you want to, you can obviously just have a prime and 4 warriors.
Sounds fun.
I don't think you will, but we can go through it. Maybe you will. We can discuss the team.
Maybe if they're really strong, maybe you'll do that to give someone a chance.
Yeah, well, maybe. Maybe. I still think they'll be good. You got a classic, 1 good, 1 not so good archetype. Do you want to guess what they've got?
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, the best is recon.
But, what do you think?
Can they have recon?
Do you think it would be recon?
I think Seek and Destroy
is the bad one.
I think they'd be good at Seek and Destroy.
But typically speaking, you've got 2 good ones and 2 bad ones.
Oh, okay. So Seek and Destroy, you're saying is the bad one.
You know what? There's good ones in all of them because I quite like security for certain teams. I would say security is almost good. Okay, I'm going to put you out your mid.
Well, I'm struggling with this because these are Tyranids.
Yeah. So how do you think?
So
they would
what
play?
are Tyranids going to do? They're going to Seek and Destroy. They're going to kill.
Yeah.
Security. They're not going to do that. Recon.
I don't think they're going to recon.
Well, they're not.
That's not
what
their
do they call the recon ones?
Confirm kill, plant beacons, wiretap.
No, I meant the Tyranids. They've got
Lictors?
Lictors.
Yeah.
Lictor?
I barely know her.
You can't not.
You can't not.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to put you out in
Infiltration?
It is infiltration. So infiltration, I think, is good for them.
But infiltration's so... You got to...
I think for these guys, implant's a good option. It does mean that you can't max score kill. But I think with
Does max score matter if people can't score against you?
I was going to say, I think it's a solid one. There are other ones you could go for, and I think you're right in thinking as a 3 APL, going for a rout with 20 plus wounds is a pretty solid effort.
They got 20 plus wounds?
Yeah, we'll get into it. But yeah. So that's the main business of the team.
Hang on, there's 5 of them with 20 wounds. That's
one of them's got 21.
That's 100 wounds. 101 wounds.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot of wounds.
They can heal.
That's a lot.
Yeah, they can heal as well, buddy. It's not all there.
I like to compare them to orcs. But
I know you do every time. How many orcs is that? 2?
101 wounds.
No, like each one's worth 2, right? 10 wounds an orc?
Yeah, it's 10 wounds an orc.
There you go. It's not bad. And you get how many orcs do you get in commandos?
Is it 10?
Exactly.
And then you got the extra little guys.
There you go. So it's not bad. It's less than them, but they do heal. So
is it 10 or is it 9? Is it 9 grot and bomb?
It might actually be. Yeah, it might actually be.
So they've got more. Yeah.
Well, pretty similar.
Probably about the same, yeah. Because the leader's got 14 wounds, so the orcs have got more.
Yeah.
But they can't heal.
They can't heal, whereas I can.
And you're throwing 5 away. You can?
I can personally heal.
Oh.
The NHS. Sleep and water as well. And toffos, white toffos, which is the current food of choice for today's.
I'm looking at these toffifees and they are so suspect. I bought them at a service station about 2 months ago.
Do you know the greatest thing I ever saw at a service station was a muffin that had white flavoured? It was white flavoured muffin.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it was like, at the time I was like, am I going to be branded a troublemaker if I'm like, excuse me, what does white taste of? Like it literally, anyway. I didn't take it in the end. I left it. But I always wondered. I to this day, I wonder.
Maybe this should be a road trip.
What it takes like. It was in Leeds.
Grimdark and Dumb on the road.
On the road. We'll go to Leeds. I remember, I can tell you where it is. I could find it. It was just towards Headingley. Anyway. So, the Raveners. We didn't even talk about this ahead. We're gonna go with the Raveners now. So they've got 2 faction rules. Well, 3 faction rules, but 2 of them are very related. Which is quite a lot, if you think about it. Quite a lot for a 5 operative team to have 3 rules. So, when you set up a Ravener kill team, so straight away, this is you got the cards there. Straight away, it impacts the first thing you do. So when you set up, before the battle, when you're setting up your operatives, you set up the first 2 operatives as normal. And then each other friendly Ravener operative thereafter can be set up underground. You just place it to one side. So you can effectively deploy with only 2 operatives. And I feel like it's such an odd thing for your opponent to play against. I think you always should. I can't imagine a scenario where you're not like, I'll do that. Because it's such a strong, like, how does your opponent play into 2 models? It's rough. Unless they decide to, unless they've got some tricks. Maybe you might want to, but you could then, anyway, we'll go into it. There's some moves. So so in the firefight phase, friendly Raveners operatives set up underground are activate and can counteract as normal. And when a friendly operative is underground, it cannot perform any other action than burrow. Burrow is effectively the coming up or coming down action. However, it's important to note at the end of the battle, any friendly Ravener operative that's underground is incapacitated. So you can't hide away at the end of the battle thinking, I won't give you any kill ops. If you're underground at the end of the mission, you are dead. So the unique action is the burrow action, which is 1 action point. And if this operative is underground, set it up on your tunnel in a location it can be placed. It's no longer underground at that point. And it can be set up within control range of enemy operatives. So you're not restricted that way. And then till the end of the activation, counteraction, you subtract 2 from its move stat. So we'll get into it, but effectively you have a 7-inch base move, which means you have a 9-inch base charge, which means if you do burrow, you then have a 7-inch charge or a 5-inch move, effectively. So it does limit. So
it's like going through a door, you lose an inch for.
Yeah, so you lose 2 inches this way, but the tunnel is the 5 inches between. So obviously you get, at the start of the game, you have like a 10-inch tunnel you can appear from. So you do get the movement back in that sense.
You can move 10 inches?
Well, no, that's where the tunnels are.
Okay.
So that is one of their rules, burrow. They do have a second rule and a third rule. So the second rule is predatory instincts. I think this is a great one. So this is pretty simple. You can perform 2 fight actions as base, which is lovely. And then each Ravager operative can counteract regardless of its order. But it's a little bit better than normal. So whenever it does, you can change its order first or change its order instead of performing an action. For the latter, still treat it as having counteracted during this turn. So you can either be in engage, flip to conceal, or be in conceal, do something, or be in engage, charge, anything like that. But you can change your target, your order as part of it.
Yeah, so you can change his order to conceal to hide.
Yeah.
Or you
can do an aggressive thing or move. But whatever you do, if you don't perform a mission action, you can still perform a free burrow in your counter action. That's pretty tasty.
That's pretty good.
So
as long as you haven't bought the point,
as part of your counter action,
you can then go and just hide away. Because obviously that's what we like to do is charge in, fight.
Yeah.
Now I own the point, and guess what I'm doing in counteract?
Yeah.
I'm going to bop it. But
so if you bop it, you can't hide. You can still bop it, but you can't bop it and then hide.
Which is cool.
It's a funky little thing to do.
And you can change your thing to conceal.
Yeah.
And then bop it. Well, it says here you can change its order first or change its order instead of performing an action. So that just says to me that your move can be to have changed your order for your counteract, but you can still go to conceal and then bop the point.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
you can change its order
than
first,
what you were thinking.
Or change its action instead of. Yeah, so
because GW thought, do you know what? Yeah. Counteracting from conceal with Astartes is amazing. We'll make it better and give it to a really strong team.
They are 5, so they're less models, so they should have something a little bit better. Yeah, that's much better than I thought it was.
Nice.
I like that.
I like it.
So linking to the burrow, it's mentioned tunnel already, so we're going to go with the tunnel. It's another one of the rules. So at the end of the step-up operative step, you place a tunnel marker, which is your 0. It has to be touching the end of your Killzone edge, basically.
So it's 3 or 6, depending on deployment.
Oh, no, it's touching your edge.
Oh, it's touching your edge.
Yeah. So you've got to edge it. And then as a strategic gambit, in the first 4 turning points, you can place your next numbers. You can place your next numbered tunnel marker on the Killzone floor, wholly within 5 inches. So after you set up 0, and then obviously in strategic phase 1, you set up the 1 marker, and it's got to be wholly within 5 inches of that target, basically.
Yep, it makes sense.
And then you just basically, as the battle progresses, you can just basically have 1 to 4. And once you've placed 5 tunnel markers, you don't place any more because obviously the game will be over. And the tunnel markers and the area between the sequentially numbered markers, i.e. 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, that's your tunnel. And in a kill zone that uses hazardous areas like Beta Decima, for the purposes of restricted movement, parts of the tunnel that are touching a hazard area are treated as hazardous area. There's an example, and it just shows basically if your opponent's overlapping like an area between the 2 markers or is in base-to-base contact within control range of the marker tokens, it's basically classed as on your tunnel. And that makes a difference for a number of strategic ploys. Basically, you get different rules if you've burrowed, or different rules if your opponent or the thing you're fighting is on your tunnel, or you're on your tunnel effectively.
Does it say how wide this tunnel is?
It's pretty small, actually. The tokens are your normal token size. They're not bases.
So an inch?
Yeah, basically. So it's not. It would be great if it was like 40 mil, which is the same size as the bases on the the Raveners, but it's not. It's like 1 inch, 25 or 22 mil or something.
So you really need to make sure you're not placing yourself on top of.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's going to be hard though, because you had a few of these.
I think you can avoid them. I think it just means that your opponent might decide to avoid an objective, because when we go into the operatives, you're just not safe if you go anywhere near a tunnel, because there's an operative that most people are going to keep hidden that can just interrupt your action, charge you right out of a tunnel if you go anywhere near it. So I think honestly, quite a lot of people are going to just avoid your tunnel.
So you can come out of the tunnel in any space in between?
Yeah, you can come out in engagement range.
So what I'm seeing here with this picture, it says 0, 1, 2, 3. I'm guessing 0 goes down initially, then number 1 for the first.
This isn't a great example of how it's going to look.
You couldn't place these so that you're within 5 inches, and you could make like a triangle of between 1, 2, 3, but then 3 and 1 would be within 5 inches. You can't have like an extra bonus tunnel.
No, you can't.
Even though it's within 5 inches.
Even though it's within one, only sequential numbers link. So 0 to 1 is a tunnel, 1 to 2 is the continuation, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. That's the only way it goes. So
and
you can't travel in any
says
other
that,
way.
doesn't it? That
So you can't travel from 2 to 4, for example. You have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's the faction rules.
Pretty cool.
Pretty decent. I guess we'll go into the strategic ploys and the firefight ploys before we handle the creme de la creme, which are the agents, the operatives even. I keep saying agents. So
agents, Tyranid agents. They're all organised these days. Alphabetical order?
No,
or is
they're not, mate. That's what I was annoyed at.
Oh my
So the faction rules, Burrow, Predatory Instincts, Tunnel are alphabetized.
I know this is a big thing for you.
I don't know why it annoys me, but strategic ploys are not, and neither is firefight ploys. They're not alphabetized.
I think they're just not.
I just don't know why,
You need to let it
Why
go.
not?
You just need to let it
I
go.
just don't know why. It just makes no sense. Like, they fit the same. Anyway, so the first one is Death from Below. This is quite a classic one. This is when your friendly Ravener operative is fighting, so note fighting, not retaliating, so when you're initiating the fight. If it's performed the burrow action during that activation / counter action, its melee weapons have the balanced rule.
That's nice.
Pretty nice. And if you're on your tunnel, it's not if it's on your tunnel, its melee weapon have the ceaseless weapon rule.
Okay, so that gives you a fair bit of range.
Yeah, you could get ceaseless and balanced potentially if you've done the balance thingy.
The balance thingy?
If you've done the burrow and you're still in your tunnel. So if it's performed the burrow action during that activation, its melee weapons have balance, and if it's on your tunnel, its melee weapons have ceaseless. So you could have ceaseless and balance.
Does that work?
Yeah, you can't have balance twice. You can't have the same instance of the same rule twice, but you can have 2 separate rules.
I always thought that worked, but it was...
So there's only a note in the rules saying if you have something that gives you the same rule twice, like balance, you don't get balance. So if you already get balance and you're on an ammo crate, you don't get 2 balance rerolls, basically.
Okay, well, that's a good clarification.
Yeah, they do it in the middle.
It's basically relentless, though. If you've got...
Yeah, I mean, balance and ceaseless, you basically have relentless.
Yeah.
So Whipcord Emergence, it's fairly straightforward. It's a boost to their combat. Nice. You have to perform the burrow or be on your tunnel, and that might be tricky if your opponent's not letting you do it, but there's ways you can get it, I guess. So that's pretty decent. So Whipcord Emergence. So when an operative is shooting, so this is a defensive one, if someone is shooting you, if you perform, this is very similar, if you perform burrow during that turning point, so not that activation like the last one was. You get reroll one of your defense dice, and then again, if you're on your tunnel, you can reroll any. This was something we've had recently with the Sanctifiers, where it's such an it's good, but they haven't figured a word for it yet. Like what they're talking about is balanced and relentless.
Relentless, yeah.
But they don't, because no one cares about defense. They haven't.
And no one's calling it defice either, which really upsets me.
Defice dice. So I think they should call it.
We don't need to say defice dice. It's in the name, Russ.
Defice.
It's defice.
You can reroll one of your defice. Yeah, they really. Maybe they don't need to come. Maybe no one cares enough about defense to be like, let's.
But it's becoming a thing.
Yeah, well, it's come two now. We've got it.
Yeah, exactly.
They should call it like stalwart, which means you get a balanced reroll on your defense, and then I don't know, whatever.
Because this
Stoic.
game needs more names,
Obviously.
which means stuff that we have to memorize.
Stoic and stalwart. Anyway, it's pretty decent. You will be shot. You've got a 5-up save pretty much across the board, so you will need some rerolls if you're going to survive shooting.
I mean, you've got wounds for days, but
yeah, you need them. Writhe Out of Sight is a pretty decent one. So this is one of the ones you use in your strategic phase, which is just a 1 operative straight away. So you select one friendly Ravener, and that friendly operative can immediately form the free burrow action. If it's within 2 inches of your tunnel, it can immediately perform a free fallback or reposition action before it does so.
What?
So it's obviously to get within of your tunnel, basically. It's pretty decent.
Free fallback is
so
nice.
Yeah. So basically, if you're on your tunnel and you're like, okay, I need to get out of here, fall back to the tunnel, disappear under the tunnel. So it's a good get out of dodge.
So you just need to be within. You want to try and make your game plan to be near a tunnel.
Near your tunnel, basically. It's all revolving around that. So being near to your tunnel, so you can fall back to it, reposition to it, and then disappear. And then this one's pretty decent. Tunnel Lurkers.
Yep.
When a friendly Ravener operative is on your tunnel, it's in cover, unless it's within 2 of the active operative, but it's only light cover, so light terrain. So anything that takes away like Seek, Light, or Advantage would take this away. Well, not take it away, but it would,
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at these models, Russ, and they are big.
Big boys, like 40 mil bases.
They're twice the size of the AdMech, some of these ones.
Yeah.
Ogrins are big.
Yeah. Ogrins are big, yeah.
And Ogrins have a rule, I believe it's called Brute, where they can't hide behind light cover.
So these guys, I think it's because they're like...
Because they're so big, I'm thinking maybe they shouldn't be able to hide behind light. Is that a thing, or...?
I know what you mean, but like quite a lot, because they're kind of like wispy snake boys, I think the whole point is they're kind of quite creepy. But I know what you mean, they are quite big, but so far they can basically be in light cover.
Right.
So they all can get light cover from the tunnel, for example. I think the idea is that they're meant to be close to the ground, serpentine.
I mean, I would expect them to get light cover from the tunnel.
Yeah.
But maybe from like light terrain or anything like that. Have you read anything that says they can't do that? Because this is very clearly in the rules of the operation. It says you cannot do this.
Yeah, they get nothing that says they don't get light cover.
So the power creep is still real.
It's still real.
Okay, well, we're moving on.
So those are their strategic ploys. Decent ones. Yeah.
Decent, yeah. So we got one which
good attack, good defense, a little funky action to immediately burrow, and then one so you can always get cover if you're on your tunnel, basically.
I would spend a CP on all of those. 2
defense. Yeah, I was going to say, I think the strategic ploys. I think you will get shot though, because I don't think people will want to fight you.
And relentless for a CP is for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, well, the balanced and ceases. If you burrow and are on your... I think you'll get a mixture of both, because you'll have 2 people that will be out, and then the people will be coming up in that turn. Most likely you'll have to leave your tunnel, though, but you will at least get the balance reroll, because I think unless people come towards your tunnel, which if they've read the rules, they won't be doing, but if they do... Great, you'll get both. And I guess later in the game, you're going to make it so it's impossible. And potentially, if you get the initiative, when you place your tunnel, you can place it so that you've got someone. If they put someone far forward, great. Put a tunnel on them and then come up if you've got initiative, and then you absolutely destroy them. And then you've got ceaseless balance and you wreck them. So, and then if you know you're going to get shot afterwards, drop 2, come up, destroy them with ceaseless and balanced, and then have relentless defense when you then inevitably get shot.
I mean, it's still on a 5-up, so...
Yeah, but the thing is, you can burrow in Conceal, because it's not a charge.
So
it's an action. So you come up on Conceal,
and then you're cool.
Fight in Conceal, and then, try and hide behind something, because you can still move after you've burrowed. You just -2.
You can do the charge in the tunnel in Conceal.
Well, it's not a charge. You can come up in engagement range with a burrow. So you come up on the tunnel if they've come close in engagement range.
So these guys are fighting in conceal all the time.
Well, no, only if people come towards your tunnels, which I don't think people will do.
No,
because that's.
But you'd
how
have
you
the
lose.
tunnel. You'd have the tunnel near the center point.
Well, they might just abandon the center point. I think to play against these guys, you might just play 2 objectives and ignore the one that they cover with their tunnels, because it's dangerous to go near the tunnels, especially if they've got. We'll talk about the agents, the operatives, but the Tremorcite or the Tremorcide or whatever it is. He will mess your day up if you go anywhere near the tunnel.
Tyranids in the books are so scary.
Well, in that sense, it's great.
They're going to kill everything in combat, I'm imagining.
I have played a game with these guys, and I will go through the firefight ploys. I found the firefight ploys less good.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the good one that I really like, slithering and evasion. So you use this when a friendly Ravener operative's activation or counteraction. During that activation or counteraction, your operative can fall back for 1 less AP, which is great.
Nice.
Or you can perform the charge while within control range of an enemy operative, and you can leave that operative control range to do so, but then normal requirements for that move apply. So you can charge from engagement and you can fall back for 1 less AP. So that's really solid. Again, it's going to be when you need it. Basically,
Does that mean it costs you 2 of your AP to get out? Then 1 for to fall back, and then the other one to charge, or
you can't fall back and charge.
So you just, instead of doing the fallback, you do a charge.
You can just do a charge. I mean, it gives you 2 options.
It's amazing. So you've got both movements you could do.
Yeah, you can either decide if you wanted to fall back, you can do so for 1 APL, so you've still got 2 left.
Or if you've got a charge on,
you can just be like, well, I'll just charge. I can,
So charge. So these guys aren't getting locked up in combat.
No, I think that's basically it. You can't get locked up, and because you've got so few models, it's going to be hard for them to lock you up. But yeah, so that's a great one. I'll read that again. So the Subterranean Horror. Use this when an enemy operative is performing a fight action and select a friendly operative that's on your tunnel to fight against. Basically, you fight first.
Yep.
So it's a great one.
Yeah, you're winning that fight.
I was going to say, so it just means in the resolve attack die sequence step of that sequence, you resolve the first attack die, i.e. defender instead of attacker. Again, this is more the reason why your opponent to beat you is going to have to stay away from your tunnel, because if he comes near your tunnel, one of your operatives is just going to charge out of it and attack them, and then if they manage to do it again and they go, well, I'm going to attack you, and you're on your tunnel, you're like, well, I'm going first. It's just a bad time to be. It's a bad time to try and kill a Ravener on the tunnel. Burrowing Strike. So you use this firefight ploy when a friendly Ravener operative performs the burrow action, and before the operative is removed after setting it up on your tunnel. So obviously burrow means go in or come out. Inflict D3 plus 1 damage on each operative within its control range.
So that's 2 to 4 damage as you leave.
Yeah, basically, or as you come in.
As you come in?
Well, you do it when you perform the burrow action, which is the burrow action is either coming up on your tunnel or leaving on your tunnel. So.
Oh wow!
So when it says before it's removed or after setting it up.
Wow.
Yeah. And basically this is stronger if you use the Fell Talon, which is a very specific operative that's kind of poisonous. So it's D3 plus 1 damage on each enemy operative within its control range. You cannot use this ploy in the strategic phase, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's a firefight ploy, or during a Fell Talon's operative's activation or counteraction if it performs a toxic lunge action.
Why would you use it in the strategic phase?
You can't. Well, no, you can. The thing is, you've got because you could have Writhe out of sight. So I think this means you can't use it with Writhe out of sight, because you could do a free burrow with the strategic phase, and then you could say I'm doing Burrowing Strike at the same time. So I think that's why basically it specifies that. An interesting one, but it might not happen. And then you've got Death Frenzy, which is your classic. When you get killed, before you remove the operative, it's D3 on each enemy operative within its control range. And if it's a Venom Spitter and he doesn't have, it still has a distended dorsal sac, it's 2D3 instead. Now, we'll talk about the distended dorsal sac action it says if it's currently benefiting from the effects of its distend dorsal sac action.
Inflict 2d3.
So basically you have to have,
Yeah.
So, they're the firefight ploys. I'm not massively jazzed on them. I don't know why. I've played one game so far.
I quite like the fact that you can hurt people as you die. That's always a nice one. It's like
It's bittersweet,
it's
though,
a good
isn't
vindictive one. It's like, yeah, you've killed me. You've got one wound left. Guess what?
It is bittersweet because it's something you can only use when you die. You know what I mean? And it's like if you play the game, you know, in like I mean, you're always going to lose someone, right? But it just feels like it's a guts and glory move though. If you charge into a bunch of guys, you know you're going to die, and you're like, well, as I do it, I'm taking you all down with me. It's true. I mean, the thing is, it's good if someone tries to multi-charge you. It's great. I just don't think there's going to be a lot of people multi-charging you on your tunnel. Because if they charge you on your tunnel, like you go first anyway. So you're going first with Subterranean Horror. And then
there's better thing to spend your CP on.
I was just going to say, it feels like if you got that, you'd be like, I'm not going to keep it for Burrowing Strike. I'm going to use it to fight first.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the cards for the damage, but 1 to 3 or like 2 to 6 doesn't sound like it's worth a CP.
No, but you know,
it might be the thing though. That might be it.
You never know. I can say I think they're all circumstantial. I think I prefer different ones, but.
I think you can imagine if someone charges 3 or 4 units into you to try and kill you, and you go, well, I'm going to do 2d3 damage to all of you.
I was going to say, I can't imagine a scenario where someone knows you've got that. You're on your tunnel and they charge 5 guys into you.
You would be so impressed to watch me throw all these wands.
I'd be I think before that happened, you'd be like, just so you know, he blows up and does 2d3, right?
Yeah, as you've charged the second guy.
Yeah, you'd be like, just so you know,
like, I just want to
don't do this. This is horrible.
This could end really badly for you. And then he's like, it's what I want to do.
I'm going to do it anyway. And it's like,
it's going to end badly then.
It's just like, I don't know what, at that point, you know, have a, you know what I mean? Yeah. Fill your boots, mate.
So what are we saying? So we don't like, well...
I don't necessarily like a death frenzy. I mean, it's nice, but you've got to count on your guy dying. I don't really think the Burrowing Strike's that good. I do like Subterranean Horror. I think that's very strong. You fight first if you're on a tunnel. And then the evasion, slithering evasion is good. That's the only one that's outright very good.
Definitely going to be used.
Yeah, because you don't have to be on your tunnel.
It's definitely.
Although the other point of that is, why would you not want to be, like, when are you not wanting to stay in combat with these guys? It's the only other question I would have, because they're so good in combat. Why would you not want to stay in combat?
Maybe you'll play the mission. You'll be like, right, I've done this.
That's the only thing I can think of.
And then I'm going to pay a CP to move over here and then bottom point.
But you have to fall back. Like, if you're like... I mean, there's a scenario in which this is working, but I just think...
because if you're in combat...
You just kill them.
You just kill them.
Yeah.
And then you've got one less model to worry about.
So I'm just sort of like...
Unless they have like charged 2 or 3 people into you.
So there's a scenario maybe you're like, hey, I'm gonna
so
disengage.
There is a scenario where it's worth actually ramming people into a model because they can't play the mission.
Potentially. I mean, this might be a very high brain move where you're like, I'll charge in, block you from doing something, I'll disengage for 2, so then I'll be able to, but then you've got 2 actions. And I'm like, you can't charge again, so you've got to be disengaging to maybe mission action and then shoot. The shooting's not that strong unless you've got 2 operatives with decent shooting. Maybe they're the only scenarios where you're like, I'm going to disengage and
If I want to bop the point and I've got a free shoot.
Yeah, but otherwise I think you just kill them and then move and bop the point. You know what I mean? But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But the strategic ploys are all pretty decent. Pretty straightforward. There's nothing like massively...
I can't say I dislike any of them.
No.
There's not ones I say I would never use that because I would do the D3 plus 1 damage to somebody.
I'm just a little bit... I'm underwhelmed by them.
Well, if he's
Fight First is great, don't get me wrong. Subterranean Horror is great. You do have to be on your tunnel, which is another thing where I'm like, it's not... Like, if that was just... There's factions that just have Fight First. And that feels like everything... Like, if you're fighting a Ravener and you've charged it on your tunnel, you deserve to die, and you will die. Because they'll just go first and kill you.
Feels like a bit of a gotcha, doesn't it?
But yeah, but it's just sort of like, why would you do it? I think the main focus of how to play against this team is don't ever fight them on their tunnels. Stay away from the tunnels.
Yeah.
And then I think the whole game is going to be staying away from a Ravener's tunnel, basically.
Yeah.
So
you need to be putting your tunnels...
You need to have a way. Yeah.
Kind of like linking your point and then linking to the middle point. And
I think you might use them offensively even. Like if your opponent deploys quite far forward, like Sanctifies, if they push forward, you just throw a tunnel onto that objective, onto that operative, and then you can just almost guarantee a kill, and you can just be like, that's where or towards a bunch of enemies.
Yeah.
I don't know, or where you think there needs to be. It might be more interesting on Into the Dark because you can go under walls.
Oh.
Yeah, so that might be real interesting.
Because Into the Dark, your movement is real limited.
Yeah, I mean, not anymore with these guys.
Yeah.
You don't need to do the doors. You can just go under the walls.
And that's thematic because they should be able to.
I mean, they should be, yeah.
I mean, in the books they do.
I would love them to have fly, but like a fly that means like dig. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like the tunnel, but they come out of the tunnel, they can still like scurry under a terrain.
Yeah,
they don't have it though.
It was very powerful, but that would be too. That's the issue. This is a cool way of doing that.
It is a different way of doing it. I do like it
because I remember we were saying when we was theory crafting how a Tyranid team would work.
Yeah,
and we were just saying, oh yeah, and you were like, they should be able to fly, and I was, but how do you play against that, Russ?
How do you play against a team that deploys 2 operatives and they can at some point have every operative off the board?
I don't know, but I'm not a good player, so.
You play the mission. You've got a chart. You've got to say you've got a threat range, which is not fun.
Or you play Sanctifiers because they can still move their entire team across the board.
They can reposition madly. Well, speaking of operatives, let's get into the operatives.
Well, what about the faction equipment?
Do you want to do the equipment first?
No, well, we'll do the operatives first.
Yeah,
then we can see what equipment would work for what operative.
So it's quite a short list, obviously. There's only 6 operatives that you can go from, but you're always going to be taking the Ravener Prime. So give us the stat break. Give us the stats of the Ravener Prime.
So this is a very handsome man.
Yeah, thank you.
Or a woman, I don't know. Are they a they? Anyway.
Yeah, I guess so.
3 APL, 7-inch movement, 5 up save, 21 wounds.
21 wounds. Have we hit the max wound count in Kill Team so far with 21? I think that's got to be up there.
I can't think of any that's higher. How much has the Patriarch got?
Oh, yeah, maybe Patriarch's roughly up there with 21, 26 maybe.
Patriarch's got a lot of wounds, but the Patriarch costs you, what, 2?
Yeah, 2 operatives.
2 operatives? But it's 2 operatives in a horde team, so it's not exactly.
So we've got 2 weapon profiles as well. So we've got your range attack, which is pretty similar. Basically, everyone on the team has a very short range, silent range attack. So it's 4 attacks, hitting on 3s, 3-4. So it's a bolter, but it's 3-inch range bolter. The leader is rending, and all of them are silent, basically. So basically whipping with the tail, 3 inches, silent rending for the leader. And he's got scything talons and rending claws, which is 5 attacks, which is big. Hitting on 3s, which is not bad. 4-5 rending. Now, he's the leader. Maybe he should be hitting on 2s, but he doesn't.
There's not many things hit on 2s, though, is there?
No, there's not a lot. But arguably, the Ravener Prime should be a melee hitting on 2s, maybe?
5 dice hitting on 3s with rending. I kind of feel like... I kind of thought he'd have more damage, though. I was thinking like a 4-6 or something, like a power weapon kind of. I think so. Because he's a monster.
He's a big monster. I mean, he does have 2 separate rules. You got Neuropredatory Crest, which does mean you're better at controlling markers. Basically, when you are determining control of a marker, you treat the total APL stat of enemy operatives that contest it as 1 lower.
Yep.
If at least one of those enemy operatives is within 3. So you basically have a little 3-inch cone of this. And it's not a change to the APL stat, so any changes are cumulative with this. So they've also been -1 APL for whatever reason. It does keep going with that. And whenever an enemy operative is within 3 inches of this operative, your opponent must spend 1 additional AP for that enemy operative to perform the pickup and mission actions. So you can make it harder for someone to do like loot or upload.
Yep.
And this is the big one. Your opponent cannot reroll their attack or defense dice for that operative.
The what?
They cannot reroll attack or defense. So if you've got relentless...
Defense dice? What?
Defice.
Oh, sorry.
There you go, Defice. So if you run in and you think you've got Ceaseless or Relentless,
no,
you don't. Not against this guy, because he's got a funky head crest.
I do love a guy like this.
A funky head crest.
It's like the Wreckers have got the guy with the fists, and you can't do lethal. He's only got to be a natural 6. And when you tell the guy you're playing against, he's just like, no, I don't like that. And you're like, yeah, I know.
Deal with it.
Yep.
It's like the cops. not the cops. You know, the Astartes. They got their you can't re-roll.
It's really
they used
cool.
to have that.
It's really cool. And do you know what? They need this as well because they've only got 5 operatives.
Yes.
So if you're going to be trying to contest, I mean, I'm thinking the one where you don't actually have to bop the points, these guys are just going to run away with that. You know,
they can bop the points pretty easily.
Yeah, but the ones where you don't have to.
Yeah, just hold them.
Just hold them.
Yeah, 3 APL, pretty decent.
Yes.
This guy especially.
And this guy's essentially 4 APL because...
But he's got a second rule, synaptic link. So this is a strategic gambit. And if this operative is still alive, you roll 1d6 and compare the result to the number of the current turning point. If the result is higher, you gain 1 CP. If it's equal, nothing happens. And if it's less, you inflict damage on this operative equal to the result.
I like that.
It's a little chance thing.
I like that.
Yeah. So turning point 1, you're probably going to get a CP.
Yeah.
I suspect that they'll change this to be turning point 2 onwards because you can't ever get lower. There's no risk turning point 1.
No.
You either get a CP or you roll a 1 and nothing happens. But we'll see. So yeah, pretty solid leader.
Yeah, the way that reads as well, if this operative isn't incapacitated, so is that... It wouldn't be incapacitated in the first turning point. So
No, it's always
you
right,
guarantee,
yeah.
So you just basically get an extra CP for free.
Basically. Yeah. So you're basically starting with 4.
And then the maths gets steadily worse as you go
Yeah,
down. But
you can
it isn't that bad.
It's not terrible. You basically turning point 2, you have to roll
Not a 1.
not a 1 again. If you roll a 2, nothing happens. But if you roll a 3 up, you get a CP, 4 up, and then a 5 up. So turning point 4, you maybe not want it, just in case. Because if you roll a 4, you take 4 wounds. So depending, you know, well, no, not a 4. On a roll of a 3, you would take 3 wounds. So the max you're going to take is 3 wounds.
You
It's
have to
turning
do
point
this.
4. No, you don't have to. It's a strategic gambit.
Okay.
So you can use it. But, you know. Okay.
It's very cool.
He's your leader. Then we've got Mr. Poison, who is the Fell Talon. He's a decent amount of shooting. So this is the he's got 2 shooting attacks. He's got the pincer tail, which we won't talk about again. Again, we'll go over the stats. It's the same before, only it's 20 wounds instead of 21.
Yeah.
So 3 APL, 7 minch move, and 5 up save.
Pincer tail is a bolter.
Yep.
You can shoot.
So everyone gets the tail blade, the pincer tail, and then what else has he got?
Did they have they had that in the compendium one, didn't they? The Gene Stealers. Did they? There was a Gene Stealers compendium team, wasn't there? I haven't gone mad here.
In the previous edition.
They had the silent shooting.
They had 2 types of shooting. They had like a flamer one, and then they had like a 3-inch kind of like.
So it's a similar idea that they've gone with. Here.
Yeah, like a small range shooter.
Yeah, but this one can shoot toxic glands.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4 dice, hitting on 3s, 3/4, range 6, silent, poison.
So it's important to note the poison here isn't as good as Plague Marine poison. So it's slightly different.
Is that an indication of the direction their poison's going to go?
Well, it's slightly. So in the resolve attack dice step, if you inflict damage with any critical successes, so it has to be a crit. The operative this weapon is being used against gains 1 of your poison tokens if it doesn't already have one. Whenever an operative that has one of your poison tokens is activated, inflict D3 damage.
Can you imagine if they did that to the Plague
That would be harsh.
That would upset a lot of people.
That would be very harsh, because that's their whole thing.
Yeah.
I've played a game and not inflicted any poison.
No, against me, I haven't.
Not with them, but with these guys.
Oh, I was going to say.
But yeah. And again, you have to resolve the attack dice, so if someone blocks it, you're not getting poison.
Wow.
Yeah. But he also has toxic scythes. What are the toxic scythes?
5 dice, hitting on 3s, 4/5, lethal 5, shock, poison. That is a very nice fighting profile.
Lethal 5 and the shock's a good one. So it means that 5 attacks,
you're winning.
But yeah, it's a solid one. I mean, shock's great. It does also have a separate action, Toxic Lunge. Now, this is something that was mentioned in the strategic ploys, that you can't use Burrowing Strike during a Fell Talon's operative if it's performed this action. So this is because you select one operative within 2 inches of this operative. Alternatively, if this operative is underground, and here's the thing, select one enemy operative on your tunnel, inflict D3 plus 2 damage on that enemy operative, and it gains 1 of your poison tokens.
Oh, wow. So that's essentially going to... It could be 11 damage.
If you used it with the burrowing?
No, because when he
when he turns up and
because
fights.
when he turns up, he's gonna roll. Obviously, he's gonna roll the full 3.
Yeah. So this operative can perform this action whilst underground.
No, that's 8. D3 plus 2 is 5, plus 3 is 8.
Yeah.
I can do maths.
You can do maths well.
Not well, but I can do it.
So this takes precedence over the normal burrow. So it's basically a better burrow, and it costs an action point to do, but you can effectively come up with this. So you can come up, attack, and then attack, basically. So it's pretty decent, but it just means you can't obviously... because this technically counts as... It's not really a burrow, which is why you can't use it with the thing that comes up as a burrow.
Yeah, so you don't get your rerolls, but you do get a nice D3 plus 2.
Yeah, and if you're on your tunnel...
Before you've even used your 5 dice on 3, 4, 5 lethal, 5 shock and poison attack.
Exactly, and if you do come up on your tunnel, you will have ceaseless anyway. So... pretty decent.
Yeah.
So this is the guy that I was talking about before, the Ravener Tremor Scythe. So all the same stats you've 3 of APL, 7-inch move, 5 up save, 20 wounds. It's got the classic 3-inch silent bolter. It's got scything talons, which are exactly the same as the prime, although it doesn't have any special rules. So it's just 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, 4, 5. But it does have 2 special operative rules. Do you want to read out Subterranean Ambush?
Once per turning point, after an enemy operative performs an action in which it moves more than 2 inch and ends within 2 inch of your tunnel, if this operative is underground and is either ready or hasn't counteracted during this turning point, you can interrupt that enemy operative's activation counteract to use this rule. If you do, activate or counteract with this operative as appropriate, but during its activation stroke counteraction, it must fight against or shoot against that enemy operative and cannot do so against any other enemy operatives until it does. If this isn't possible, this operative's activation counteract is cancelled and the rule hasn't been used. After completing this operative's activation counteraction, continue that enemy operative's activation counteraction if possible.
I made you read that one out because it's super long. So you did a good job.
It was painful.
For us too. So basically, if anyone moves more than 2 inches and ends within 2 inches of a tunnel, this guy just pops out and then immediately attacks or shoots him, but you're probably going to go for the attack. So you can hold this person underground and basically wait for your opponent to come near you. I mean, it's super lovely.
And you get a free attack.
And you get a free attack, basically. Yeah. It does also have...
I'm presuming you have to be within range of this model. You can't just be like one side of the board and he's on the other side.
Oh, no, but this is if he's underground. Yeah, he basically comes up out of your tunnel.
How does this tunnel thing work, though? Because if he's like one side of the board and I'm on the other side of the board...
Oh, no, this only works if you're underground. If this operative is underground and is either ready or hasn't counteracted, you then pop up.
So if he's underground, can he go anywhere?
Yeah, he goes on your tunnel. You can come up from your tunnel.
So when you go underground, you don't say, okay, my guy's here in the middle. You just say, they're in the tunnel.
He's just gone.
And they can go...
anywhere on the tunnel.
But how do you measure your distances then?
You measure from the tunnel. You come up from anywhere on the tunnel.
So that movement's incredible.
Potentially.
Like if you've got 4 of them down, 4 5-inch things, you can move 20 inches.
Well, you don't necessarily move 20 inches, but you can move anywhere from that line of tunnel.
That's just frightening.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. But that's why, I mean, your opponent, I think that the way you play is to find out where they can charge you from and stay out of that range.
Yeah. And to be fair, it's... how close did it come out from the tunnel? They've got a 1-inch range from the tunnel, or...
They're 40-inch base. They can be touching
They've got a 40-inch base?
Sorry, 40-inch. 40.
Could you imagine?
They are the size of the game. No, they've got 40 mil base.
I kind of feel like the power creep's gone too far when we're giving models 40-inch base.
It's the Hierophant. Yeah. So that's that. They have one of the rule, which is the Hyper Sensory Hunter. This is quite a small one, so I'm going to read this one. This operative can perform the charge action while it has a conceal order. If it's performed the burrow action during the same activation counter action. So you can basically come up using potentially Subterranean Ambush, because it's not like you can come up. It's not your activation, it's your counter action.
It doesn't cost an AP, it's just something that you can do with
But then your opponent then goes. But if you kill that model, then it's potentially your go. But anyway, you can then, if you've done a burrow, actually no, to be fair, you have to perform the burrow action, and the Subterranean Ambush isn't a burrow action.
Okay, yeah.
So you can't do it with that one. But yeah.
I really like the Tremor Scythe.
It's I think he's a cool like a threat piece. I think you have him, and you let your opponent know.
He's your man. You just don't use him. He's the one you use last.
I think you keep him in your back pocket.
Yeah.
Waiting for the guy to come near, and then you're like, bam, he's come out. This other operative is also a good one. This is your best shortest source of shooting, the Venom Spitter. Exactly the same stat line. He's got 3 shooting profiles, much like your, not much like the Fell Talon, but similar to the Fell Talon. He's got the tail, obviously, the silent 3-inch, but he's got a blast and a piercing 1-shot, both of the Venom Bolt. So it's 4 attacks hitting on 3s. Your blast is 3-5, both are range 8. It's blast 2 and poison. And then the focused is 4-5, no blast, but it is piercing 1 and poison.
They're really good.
Poison exactly the same way. It needs to be a crit success. And it does have, this is something that's come up before, Distend Dorsal Sac as an action point. So, until this operative is shot with its Venom Bolt, or until it performs the burrow action, whichever comes first, all profiles of its Venom Bolt have the lethal 5 weapon rule, have 1 added to their attack stat, and the range 8 weapon rule removed.
That's an extra dice.
Not an extra dice. Oh yeah, it is an extra dice.
Oh my god! So literally, you can come up.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my dorsal sack, and then I'm doing 5 dice, lethal 5, and then your poison's a little bit more scary.
Yeah. So I think effectively you do this. I think this is one of the operatives you don't deploy underground. So then you move forward in cover, and then you distend dorsal sack. So that then until you've shot.
Yeah, because you counteract.
Yeah, you can basically still have it. And basically, until you burrow, you just do it once, and then you've got it until you either shoot or burrow, and then you just use it. I think that's a way to do it. But I think, having full range with him by distending the dorsal sack means his range 8 becomes full range. So he's got full range blast, full range piercing, pretty decent. And because you've got counteract, you can potentially...
Which you can change
your order and then shoot.
You can go from... He's going to get grenades on loads of people. It's a grenade, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got... I mean, the piercing shot's not bad if you're into elites, but yeah, he's got your blast. And the thing is, the blast damage is pretty good, 3-5.
Yeah, and the
5
poison.
attacks, because you've got the distortion. Yeah.
He's the one you're hiding from.
Yeah, he's the one your opponent has to kind of worry about him. I think that's why you keep him above
And these
ground.
models are so big. He's seen over those walls. Which one is the Venom? So he has got the lower head of them.
But still,
He's still
over
seeing
walls,
over a wall, though.
It will be hard.
Yeah. They look so good.
Yeah. It's so good, the alarm's gone off.
The alarms are going off.
The alarm's gone off.
Saying how
good they are. So even though, and again, the annoying thing is apart from the prime, these are in alphabetical order. So that what happens now is the warrior technically comes next, but we're going to discuss the wrecker first because the wrecker's the special operative.
Did we do the melee weapons of the Venom Spitter? Haven't we?
Oh no, we haven't. So the Scything Talons is just exactly the same.
It's amazing.
5 attacks hitting on 3s, 4-5.
Amazing.
I mean, it's solid. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So we've got the wrecker. So we're skipping the warrior because we're going to come back to the warrior. So the wrecker, slightly different stats.
Why have they got an orc on the team? It's insane.
Exactly.
And it's the one with the big hammer with the rocket.
He's got the big hammers.
Well.
So this one has got a 4-up save.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's your slightly more durable one. So he's got... so his bone mace, his tail, his 3-inch tail, is the same damage, but it's piercing 1.
Which one's this one?
That's that guy, yeah. So he's got his tail weapon, 3 inches, piercing 1. So it's a little bit better. Well, not a little bit better. It's very much better. So he's got Scything Talons, and instead of claws, he's got rending claws. He's got crushing claws.
Oh.
So it's exactly the same profile. 5 attacks, 3.
I'm picturing Crush from 1980s WWF. I don't even remember. I don't know if you're even old enough.
Crush.
That
rings a bell.
Had like an orange suit on. He used to crush people's heads.
I don't know that.
It was so good. My childhood was amazing.
I do love that. I like Papa Shango.
Oh yeah, and he became like the Dogfather, didn't he?
Yeah,
the Godfather.
The Godfather, yeah, something like that. So 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, 4-5, but he's got the crush special rule. Before we get to that, we're going to do the standard reinforced carapace. So normal and crit damage of 4 or more inflicts 1 less damage on this operative.
Normal and crit.
Normal and crit. And it doesn't say shooting, it just says damage. So shooting, fighting, whatever.
Yeah.
Reduced damage and a better save. So he's going to be sticking around a bit longer.
This guy's going to be very difficult to remove.
But the crush rule is fun. So whenever you strike your opponent, you and your opponent roll off. So it's not crit, it's just whenever you strike, you and your opponent roll off, adding 1 to your result if your operative this weapon is being used against has a wound stat of 9 or less. So if you, I mean, it's a stat, so it doesn't matter how much damage they take, it's the stat. So if you win, inflict additional damage on that operative equal to the difference between the dice results to a max
Whenever
of 3.
you strike.
So
this
every
is
time
so
you
unfair.
hit, isn't it just? So
and you get +1 if they've only got 9 wounds or less.
So your damage,
so you're winning.
Your damage range is 4 to 7 on your normal damage, and 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so 4 to 7.
That's good maths, man. Well done.
Yeah, I did that off the
fast.
cuff. I did that fast math, and then I questioned it.
Yeah.
So 4 to 7 on your normal damage if you win.
Which you will.
And then what? 5 to 9? 5 to 8 on your.
You were so close.
I was so close. You know what, man?
I was proud for a moment.
I crushed it, and then I destroyed myself.
See what you did there. With
So
the
4 to 7, 5 to 8 is your maximum damage. So if you roll max, you've got a 7-8 weapon here. I mean, I like the bit of chance though. I like.
And
that's
if
fun.
you got a guy who's got a wound stat of 7, you're getting +1 added. You're gonna kill him.
You're probably going to kill him in one shot, basically. So very fun. And then this takes us to our last operative, who is your standard warrior. So he's got the pincer tail, which is your classic bolter that's 3-inch and silent, and he's got the scything talons, 5 attacks, hitting on 3s, 4/5.
Yeah.
But his special rule is instinctive behavior. So when this operative is shooting against, fighting against, or retaliating against a wounded enemy operative,
And a wounded enemy is just someone who's got any wounds.
someone who's lost any wounds, or an enemy operative that has performed the fallback action during this turning point, it has lethal 5.
Wow.
Solid.
Yeah.
It's both weapons as well. It doesn't say I mean, shooting against or fighting. So it's pincer tail, it's scything talons, lethal 5.
Yeah.
It's solid. I don't think it's enough that you would take it against any of the special operatives. It feels like that's decent.
Yeah.
I don't think that's better than
Because this
any of the
edition,
single
the warriors have
operatives.
been fun.
Yeah.
Like we've had conversations about who's got the best
Yes.
warrior and just teams of warriors. And like I remember the Chaos Legionaries.
The Legionaries is insane.
Their warriors just on
Yeah.
a different level. But like the Orc warrior is really good. The Scout warrior is decent. You know, they've
There's
got
some good
like
warriors.
they've got stun grenades, smoke
Yeah,
grenades.
getting free utility grenades. This doesn't feel, I mean, this is good, but it's arguably the difference of 1 and 2 damage. I mean, it can be more.
Yeah, but it's harder to parry.
Yeah, it is harder to parry, but I mean, again, maybe that's the thing. Maybe
5 dice on 3, 4, 5.
I mean, that's a solid profile. It's just, I think you're going to want the Tremor Scythe for the whole thingy. You're going to want the shooting of the Venom Spitter. You're going to want the poison and the shooting of the Fell Talon. I don't know, and I think you want the potential damage of the Wrecker is more, because you can potentially do 7 to 8 on his. You can do up to 7 damage on his normal strikes. You don't need lethal 5. You're potentially doing more damage anyway. I'm just not sure it's better.
I think I'd like to find a model of Crush from the 1980s WWF.
Should do these all as
make you paint him.
Damn right. Get them
Put him on the
get them all
channel.
printed out.
We're doing the Crush.
Have the entire. You know what you could do? You could have just print them all off as wrestlers. Who would be the? Well, it'd be actually. So Jake the Snake would be your Venom Spitter because he's got the snake.
Yep.
The Tremor Scythe would be what?
Prime's obviously Hulk Hogan.
Bam Bam Bigelow. Yeah, you got Prime. The Fell Talon.
Fell Talon.
You got to have Andre the Giant in here somewhere.
What's the Fell Talon do again? He's got
Poisons,
the poison. What's Papa Shango?
Papa Shango. There you go.
So then the warrior, I mean, it's Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior, obviously. I mean,
Absolutely.
So they're the operatives. Solid operatives.
They're very fun.
Very fun operatives.
Very fun. And I like it's only 6 to choose from, so there isn't
you
too
get
much.
a team of 5 and you've only got 6 operatives to pick it from. Let's go through the faction equipment lastly, but not leastly. Faction equipment.
Yes.
I think these are all solid. When I ran them all. But see what you think if there's any distinct winners. But I think
first time you play a team, you should
always should run it.
Unless you got one that's just stupid.
Yeah, I mean the Wreckers have that.
Yeah, you lose an inch movement. You know, why would I want to do that?
So the first one, the camouflage one. Do you want to read that one out, Mark? Because it's ridiculous to say.
Okay. Oh wow, that is ridiculous to say. Chromatospore. So chromatospore.
Chromatospore. camouflage. I think that's correct.
Chameleonic adaptations enable this bioform to virtually disappear.
So this is a solid one.
Yeah,
so anyone...
Oh, are you going to read now?
Well, now that you've got rid of the hard words, I'm going to read it, yeah. So,
Chromatospore.
Chromatospore, thanks very much.
Can you say the second word that it begins with C?
Camouflage. Camouflage.
Sounds French.
Yeah, I think it must be a French word. So when an operative is shooting against a Ravager, if you retain any cover... Yeah, I keep saying Ravager. I don't know why. That's the Felgor Ravengers, isn't it? Oh, it's so rubbish. Anyway, if you retain...
I didn't know if you were coming on to me. Just keep saying Ravager. Just to see what happens. It's not happening, Russ.
It's not happening. Well...
Not until you answer the question about washing your face. Right, go on.
I've slipped something in your drink. Anyway, if you can retain any cover saves, you can retain one additional cover save. This isn't cumulative with improved cover saves from Vantage, so you can't, if you're on a Vantage, get 3 cover saves, but effectively it means if you got a cover save, you got 2 cover saves.
So it's solid. It's the camo cloak.
It's the camo cloak, basically. Yeah. I think this is solid. Plus,
I like it.
You've got a whole bunch of stuff where if you're on a tunnel, you're on light cover, so you can always get 2, so it's pretty decent. Metamorphic Flesh. When this friendly Ravager operative is activated, it regains D3 lost wounds.
Whenever?
Yeah, and so it's only an activation, so counteraction don't count, but every time you activate them, D3 wounds back. Wow. Solid. Yeah, I think you're always taking Metamorphic Flesh. No reason never to. No,
so the minimum you're getting back if you survive 1, 2, 3. Well, you're not going to hurt in the first one, so you can get 3 wounds back.
Minimum.
Yeah. I think 9 wounds back. I mean, so these guys are now gone to 23 wounds.
23
29.
Yeah, 23
and the main
29
man's got
wounds.
30 wounds.
Potentially.
If he survives all 4 turns.
I mean, it's solid.
Which they're not, let's be fair. We're going to take out a few of these guys.
Your opponent's going to have to focus fire, but they'll kill at least 2, surely. Anyway, yeah. Great one.
Why would you not?
Why would you not? Acid Blood. This is a fun one. Whenever a friendly Ravager... Why do I keep saying Ravager? Whenever a friendly Ravener...
I'm going to throw something at you every time. There's like some mints here. If you can hear those. I'm going to throw one of these at Russ every single time he says Ravager.
I'll open my mouth and catch him. So, when a friendly Ravener operative is fighting or retaliating, so it's good. Whenever an attack dice inflicts damage on it, roll a d6. On a 5-up, inflict 1 damage on the enemy operative in that sequence.
Nice.
So this is good because... these operatives do like 4 or 5 damage quite a lot of the time. Yeah. So if you've got an operative with 10 wounds and they attack you, so you attack first, they attack back. If you've got 3 crits and they don't parry, or they have 2 crits and they can't parry, 2 crits wouldn't necessarily kill it. Well, 2 crits would kill it because it's 5 damage. Yeah. If they manage to parry one and your 4 damage goes through, on a 5-up, you'll do an additional damage when they hit you, and you can still kill a 10 wound operative.
It's impressive.
With 9 wounds.
It's impressive. And
it's a risk.
5-up, it's still a 1 in 3.
Yeah, so it's not bad.
It's not bad odds.
It's kind of fun.
It's not great odds when you're doing saves, but when you're doing 3 damage to somebody, it's great.
I mean, it's
and this is each dice. So
yeah,
like, if I've hit you with 5 dice from a very special gun.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not shooting.
No, yeah.
It's just combat.
So yeah, this isn't going to be as fought as I was thinking just a second
combat,
ago.
Yeah.
But still, though, every time you get hit, you potentially throw in.
I think they should do it if they're shooting within 2 inches. I think that should also be acid blood.
Splatter.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just thinking of aliens.
It's shotgun, yeah.
Yeah. Did you notice these also weren't in alphabetical order?
I don't care.
It just doesn't make any sense.
It just doesn't bother me, Russ.
It bothers me. Anyway, heightened senses. So once per battle, this is a decent one, but I played it and it didn't really come off until the last turn. So once per battle, when rolling off to decide initiative, if a friendly Ravener operative is underground, easy. However, and an enemy operative is within 5 inches of your tunnel, less easy, you can re-roll your dice. But this thing is, I think you can manipulate this. So turning point 3 and 4, if they've come forward and you really need initiative, you can put someone on a tunnel or within 5 inches of a tunnel.
5 inches is big.
Yeah, it's decent.
Them tunnels are going to be...
I know you say you're a pioneer for hey, 5 inches is big. And it's a decent amount.
Huge.
It's a decent amount.
It's huge.
But you can re-roll. So initiative re-roll, always good. So yeah, so
when you need it.
I was going to say when you need it. That's the Raveners. That's the team. I mean, what do you have any?
I'm scared.
Do you have any initial thoughts?
I'm scared.
Are you looking forward to playing with
With
Do you think you're going
more
to use
than
them?
against.
Yeah.
I think they are a bit of me. I do like commandos. They're kind of sneaky, hard to shoot. These guys are also going to be sneaky and hard to.
I think so.
to shoot. I don't think the big brain, which is great for me.
Yeah.
So I feel like I could probably get down with knowing them. It's going to take a few games to figure out your stuff because they have got some stuff.
They've got some stuff. You know what? I was surprised. I was surprised at how simple their melee is. And it sounds weird because, you know, when you see a melee team, you expect a lot of melee rules.
Just upsets me how much better they are than orcs because they've got an extra dice.
Well, I think that's what I mean.
So it's like 5, because that's always the issue. You fight Astartes with an orc, you're probably not going to win.
Yeah, because you got 4 attacks.
Because you got 4 attacks, he's got 5. He's going to parry you out.
Yeah.
And then he's going to hit you.
Yeah.
And then these guys, the Astartes aren't going to parry these guys out.
Well, if they got duelist.
Yeah.
I still think duelist.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
It should be shock rather than the whole. Yeah, it's just stupid being able to get rid of someone's.
Yeah, being able to double parry with a crit with dueler is horrendous.
But you give me shock and you can hit me and then I lose a dice.
Exactly.
It sucks for me.
But that's only happening once per
It's
combat.
only happening once.
Yeah. But if you do it, I mean, you hit. Yeah, it leaves you with 2 hits and then.
But let's face it, Space Marines aren't the best thing in the world right now. So
yeah, I mean, they're still pretty good, but I was surprised that there's not. They've got like a few operatives that have like special rules, but for example, their leaders only got rending, but it's because they're 5 attacks. You don't need a lot of rules. Like 5 attacks is almost a rule in itself. It's like everyone's got 5 attacks, which means you can pretty much live in combat.
You would expect him to have lethal 5 as well.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, rending's not bad, but it just means like. There's no way to get severe either, which is a shame because you'd be like, give me severe, then rending's like a real big deal.
I kind of feel like though, because they do feel strong.
Yeah, they do feel strong.
And they're going to be, there's a lot of wounds to chew through. I mean, you might be unlucky and roll the 1 each time for your wounds regen.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. You can't really count on that.
I'm not actually that happy about all these wound regen stuff that's going on right now. The Goremonger one's disgusting.
I don't. Yeah, the Goremonger one isn't fun.
No.
2d3.
Yeah.
And they can all do it.
Do it once per turning point, maybe if you're going to do 2d3 because it's just so oppressive.
And the thing, the annoying part with Goremongers is as long as they get above 8 wounds, they then can't then die.
Yeah.
Assuming you're shooting, which quite a lot of teams only have shooting. And if you're against Goremongers, you have to rely on your shooting most of the time, especially if you don't have decent combat. And if they can 2d3 above 8 wounds, they can't be killed again. And it's just sort of like, it's a bit rough.
It's a bit rough. I've used it with the Wreckers and I've enjoyed it. But the Wreckers health regen, there are
D3 plus 1,
it's
right?
D3 plus 1, but you have to be on engage. Yeah. So it's not like, I mean, I'm activating, so I regen health. Yeah. No, there's stuff that has to happen first. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
D3 is not egregious. I don't think it's not terribly overpowered.
No.
For an I mean, it's nice. You got to think they've got 5 operatives.
They are going to need to stick around. It's going to be difficult.
I imagine if you're shooting these guys or fighting these guys, you are focusing.
But how many wounds does a melter do?
On max hit?
Well, just average. It's not killing one.
No. Probably not on average. Not with saves and misses. So most melters in the game hit on 4s, I think. I'm fair to say. I mean, you got Space Marines, like Chaos Space Marines can take one that hits on 3s, but discounting the elites that can run it, you're looking at a melter's going to do, maybe 14 wounds?
And then this guy activates, rolls D3.
Yeah. So it's probably not going to kill us.
It's going to be rough.
Yeah.
Like, your little team's going to really struggle to take these guys down.
But I think that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to shoot. To be fair, the AdMech, which we haven't discussed yet, they have a gun that seems to be like a NID killer. It's like a real strong... Yeah, it does seem to be the NID killer.
But it's for Mike, because if you read the books, Tyranids are really hard to kill.
Yeah, I was going to say, it works out.
So I'm actually reading one right now about Tyranids.
Is it the Caiaphas Cain
I'm back
ones?
to Caiaphas Cain again, yeah. Can't remember where we're at this time around, or Pyramunda or something like that.
Is it like a Necromunda hive?
No, it's just what it might be how my brain has come up with. Anyway, it's one of the ones where he goes to this world and there's Gene Stealers there initially, but they've called for the Hive Fleet to come, and now the Hive Fleet are coming.
Yeah.
and I've already read it once before, but I've read it before I go to bed on night time. And they've just found the nids.
Yeah.
And they've got the flesh borers.
Oh, I love the flesh.
So there's loads of little dead beetles on the floor. But they're so hard to kill. That's the whole shtick.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they've got chitinous hides, plates of armor and bone all over them.
Yeah,
and
if you do find a way to kill them, they fix it.
Yeah, they adapt.
And send them out again. The Tyranids are terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, I think that in that sense, this is a great team, great thematic team.
I thought you might have had a Lictor, just because everyone likes making the joke.
Lictor?
Barely know it. But I thought you might have had a Lictor.
Always good.
Because then he would have basically... And I was picturing the guy from the Vespids who just walks forward because he's invisible.
Yeah.
And that could have been the Lictor. It's like, I can see him coming to me. There is nothing I can do about this.
What I really wanted was exactly that, the Lictor. But instead of 6 inches, it's got to be 3 inches.
Right. So
Like,
he's only doing something turning point 3.
No, like you know, the
From the tunnel.
Vespid guy, you've got to be within 6 inches to be able to target him. I want it to be 3 inches for the Lictor.
Wow.
Like, imagine that. Like, so you literally have to get so close to be able to shoot him because he's so adaptable.
And give him thematic. And it's just like Space Marine 2, the game where then the Lictors do come out. They just turn up and then you're in some.
Mm-hmm.
You're in
trouble. Yeah, time to get down. But yeah, the Raveners. Not the Ravengers, the Raveners.
Nah, I'm gonna throw
so I said that intentionally.
No,
I said that intentionally.
I might throw a pistachio instead then.
Maybe I'll take one. Oh, rich tea.
It's an interesting selection.
Yeah.
They've got mints, pistachios, and rich tea.
I'm not sure why it's there.
Yeah. And then these really strange.
I'm going to have another Tofefe.
This is the bad.
Oh, we're on to the bad batch.
Yeah. Maybe we'll take a picture of this and put it on. If it's on YouTube with all these brilliant models and just this picture of these really dodgy looking Tofifis.
Oh, they're okay. They taste okay.
Yeah. We'll find out tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
No, I like them. I want to play with them.
No, I came up with this colour scheme years and years and years ago. I think I called it High Fleet Hierophant or something like that because I know since then there is a model that's a Hierophant. But this is before I knew there was a model.
Workshop are always ripping off your ideas, aren't they?
Well, no, the Hierophant is a tarot card. So the Hierophant, it's a cool name. This is why I like it. So I think, do you remember 2000 AD? Mm-hmm. So this is how long ago.
I bought a 2000 AD annual for John for Christmas.
Oh, mate, I love it. I've got some, I think. But you remember the ABC Warriors? They're the robots. So there was Hammer, Fist, and Joe Pineapples.
Oh, I remember Joe Pineapple.
Joe Pineapple's awesome, yeah. He's my favourite. So there's one of the robots called Nemesis, and he has tarot cards. And he's showing these really cool drawn tarot cards, futuristic style. And one of them is the Hierophant, which is part of the tarot deck. And Hierophant means the one who brings people to God for judgment. And I thought it was a cool name when I was reading this, so I was like, "That's what I'm gonna." So that's been in my head.
Judgmental prick.
Exactly, yeah. I was just like, but that works for them because they bring their god is the, you know what I mean. It brings them to the biomass devourer. But there is actually a Tyranid called the Hierophant.
It's amazing you put so much thought into things.
I know, I did.
I literally just got, I like purple.
I like purple. Paint. But yeah, no, so this is that colour scheme. Basically all my nids are this colour. Because I wanted to get them painted up quickly so I could do the bat rep. So I just painted something I knew.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I've got some nids and I did them in Behemoth because I like the black and the red.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put like a dry brush of blue over the I didn't go black, I did like a darker grey.
Yeah.
But it looked so good.
Nice.
And when you're painting them as well, when you're just dry brushing, it feels like you're cheating.
Yeah.
Because they've got such sharp edges on the chitin?
Chitin.
Chitin?
Chitin.
Chitin?
Yeah, chitin.
No.
I think it's chitin.
I read it as chitin.
It's spelled CHITIN.
It's chitin.
But I think it's chitin.
Well, I think if anybody disagrees or agrees, maybe we could have a poll.
We'll have a poll. I'm in camp chitin.
Shittiness horrors.
I was going to say chitinous.
As Caiaphas Kane says, not Caiaphas, Caiaphas.
Are you reading the audiobook?
I'm reading the book.
Oh, you're reading it, you're not listening to it.
I have eyes, I can read.
But I'm just thinking, because that would answer the question, wouldn't it?
Well, you'd answer that person.
Do you know what we're going to do?
Idea of it.
Do you know what we're going to do? I'm going to get Google. We're going to cast your votes now.
Google's going to know.
Google's going to know. I'm going to ask Google how to pronounce Google. Are you ready for this? We're going to find out.
I don't think we are.
Who's right and who's wrong. I know I'm right, but we're going to do it anyway.
Titan.
If you guys could see the smug look on his face.
I'm sorry, Google. We're going to have to one more time close to the mic just to make sure.
Titan.
One more time just for...
Titan.
There you go, buddy.
Is that British English, though, or is that American English?
No, that's just British. That's the Queen's. The Queen's. The Killzone. Why do I keep saying the Queen?
Well,
I was in London recently.
Still the Queen in my eyes.
The
King's coming on Monday.
He is, Lancaster.
Yeah,
but
should we go see him?
No, but I was in London.
I was going to ask you about his fingers.
His sausage fingers. No, I was in London recently, and we were like, "Oh, do you reckon she's in?" Like instinctively walk past Buckingham Palace. Do you reckon she's in? I was like, "No," and I was like, "No, she's dead." We were like, "Oh God, she is." Do you reckon he's in? I was like, "No, he's in Lancaster."
Then we all got sad.
Oh no.
Anyway, moving back to 40k. I like them.
Yeah, I think they're great. I think there's some.
I do say this quite a lot though.
That we like them.
I like them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I do like them. I think this might be a.
Do you know who I'm not that keen on? Sanctifiers.
No, I'm not either.
No, I like the
Some of the
models did look nice, and but I don't know, man.
No, I prefer the ghouls out of that box. But
Goremongers I love.
Yeah, like the Goremongers.
Insane fun. I want to play them as well. Yeah, I want to play some Kill Team.
That would be good.
Do you fancy having a game sometime?
We should do Nids into Gores.
Oh,
because that's an interesting, because they're so melee. Both of those teams are so melee. I wonder who would win. Genuinely,
yeah,
that would be a good power creep question because they're both relatively new teams. There shouldn't be that much disparity between. It feels like the Nids are the stronger melee operatives.
But the Goremongers, you can do stuff.
But Goremongers have more tricks.
Yeah.
Because these guys have very few tricks apart from the tunnel.
I kind of feel like Sanctifiers with their flamers will kill these Nids.
Yeah. And so...
Because they can... In fact, that will just prove how strong the Sanctifiers are when they're just flaming Nids and killing them.
So the box set that this team is against is the Battle Clade. And they can have... You can take up to 3... flamers, and they're hitting on 2s, 4 attacks, 4/4 flamers.
Nice.
Which is insanely good.
Yeah.
You can also substitute one of them out for a melter, or you can take the phosphor guns, but they're hitting on 4s, so I think you want the flamers.
They do like to pair off teams that can go against each other, though, don't they?
I'm not sure the Battle Clade can, quote unquote, hang with the Raveners. I think the Raveners feel like they might, but I think they do have tricks, the Battle Clade.
Cool.
But yeah, some good ones. But yeah, I think they're a solid team. I like them. I think the keys to playing... I think it's going to be easy to play with them. I think you're going to confuse your opponent because you only deploy 2 models, and then they have to think of they have to think of those 2 models, and they have to think of a 7-inch charge range from your tunnel at all times. And I think that's going to be hard to keep track of.
It's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, and they can't come towards your tunnel because if they come within 2 inches, your Tremor Scythe pops up.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to give your opponent a lot of trouble. I think the way to play against them is to just ignore the tunnel. Not ignore it, but avoid it, and then threat range measure a lot of 7-inch range from the tunnel.
So painful.
That's what I mean. I think it's going to be a painful game, and you're just basically going to have to creep round the sides to avoid that tunnel and basically play the mission, and then when they pop up, focus fire and kill them, because there's only 5 operatives. If you kill 3,
it's a problem.
Yeah, you're on for a win.
So yeah, I'm looking at these models and they're incredible. They really are
cool models.
Is this how they are as well? Like the bases look like this, and
the bases, they're built. There's 3 models that are built into their base.
They're just so good to look at. Like this one I'm looking at here, he's come out from the ground.
He's literally come out of the ground. Yeah, that's the Tremor Scythe.
It's amazing.
Yeah, they do look cool. They're very funky models.
Yeah,
you do need 2 technically if you want to build any warriors. They don't come. I mean, they do come, but because there's 5. There's a 5 operative box set. You get the Prime, which you kind of want to build. He's the leader. You then have 4 specialists. So if you want a warrior,
and as nice as that warrior is, he's basically lethal 5, and he's got the 4/5. But the other guys are so good.
So no,
it
is a 1-box team in a way because I don't think you want the warriors as much as you want the specialists.
But if you do want warriors...
Yeah. I think you build a specialist.
Well, then you spring for the second box, and then you have 5 warriors. And
I was going to say,
you can play the old...
start a NID, get a team.
Yeah.
Start a NID
or
4
warriors and the prime. We can do the whole warrior and the leader thing. I think that would be an awesome series. We just got a team of warriors and the leader. And then we'll say, right, let's see how good you are now.
Let's see how we get, like, taking away all your bells and whistles, son. Let's see how it goes.
Exactly.
Let's see how it's going to go down.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, solid team.
And they look great.
I think they'll be up there.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a lot of play.
Yeah.
Because they're such a small team, they're perfect for tournaments.
But they're going to be spiky, because if you get a really good damage roll and actually kill one of these, that hurts. It hurts more than Astartes.
Yeah. It's going to hurt. I mean, every kill is a grade on the kill point. You can't hide. There's 5 operatives, there's 5 kill grades. So it's really easy to know how many you have to kill to score more than them on the kill up.
Yeah, and as good as they are,
they will.
Once you've got these down to 2, you basically are winning that game if you've
survived enough.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Each of these operatives can easily kill 3 models in an activation. Pardon me.
Oh.
You can charge, fight, and then counteraction fight. So don't give
if you do lose, drop a CP and everyone's getting an acid splash in the face. So was that D3 or D3 plus 1? I can't remember.
D3 plus 1 or 2D3 plus 1.
Potentially 4 wounds.
So don't group together.
Well, that's how you take them.
Yeah.
You've got to group. That's the tactic.
Well, it's shooting. I think it's going to be shooting. It'd be interesting. I'd love to see gauze into these guys.
If you've got, I mean, what's your standard bolt? Is it 4 dice or 5 dice?
4 attacks hitting on 3, 4.
You're not doing that much damage.
No.
So you might
can shoot twice.
8 wounds through, maybe.
So what? 8
wounds.
attacks hitting on 3, 4. I mean, that's probably 6 hits going through, saving on 5s. Then maybe save 2 of them. So that's 4 lots of damage going through.
And if they were all crits,
that's only 12. Even if it's between 12 and 18, 16.
16, yeah.
It's not killing one. You probably don't kill one.
We've not done ourselves a
we
credit
have
for our
nailed
maths
the maths.
tonight.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to re-edit this video.
I think Grimdark and Dumb is really starting to fit.
Do you know at the beginning you were like, which one of us is Grimdark and which one of us is dumb?
He's answered.
Yeah, so the topic is Grimdark. We're both dumb.
Yeah. And I'm still sticking with chitness.
Even though you were thrice proved wrong.
Listen, I listened to robot voices for 20, 30 years and they're always wrong.
It's kindness. On that controversial topic, we're going to end this episode.
Chitting till I die.
Chitting till I die. Chitin forever.
Yeah. Team
Chitin. Nice. Solid team.
Give us a thumbs up for chitting and a love heart for...
for chitin. It's going to be all love hearts.
Yeah.
You're just wrong on that one.
No.
All right. We will see you in the next episode.
Look forward to it.